gentlemen, welcome to the next episode of the Tap In Podcast. I'm Chris Harris.
And I'm Dystany Spurlock.
And we are here. This man right here is, the word influencer gets thrown around a lot in this today's market. And it's truly, people that use the term, but they don't really influence the culture. But this man right here is the definition of what we talk about, influencing and moving the culture forward, just being himself. He is one of the first black faces that we had the opportunity to really see in this drifting scene. I mean, we have hypercars here, supercars here, donks here, and his Twerk Stallion is the magnet for everybody coming into this booth, man. And I'm so happy to have him here. Without further ado, everybody say what's up to Hert from Nappy Boy Automotive. My man is in the building. So what you think about SEMA so far?
I've been coming to SEMA for the last 15 years. It's always impressive to see what people, it takes a lot of time and effort to build something to come here and stand out, So it's always impressive to see what people do here at SEMA.
What you think about the booth, man? It's
beautiful, man. No, this is so sick. Congratulations on all your success in making this happen. This is there aren't many words for it. This is amazing.
I truly, truly appreciate it.
All right, so I'm going to ask you your first question. How did you first become interested in cars and the automotive culture?
Cars for me, they came pretty natural. No one in my family really did cars. I didn't really have a lot of automotive influence growing up, but I love video games. And, so when you play Gran Turismo and Forza and Need for Speed Underground 2 to go, when you play all those games, and, the funniest thing about it, though, is I love cars from playing games, but I never understood that I could do this in real life.
Yeah.
Because playing a game and loving cars through that and seeing racing in real life, you see two different things, So I definitely give video games the reason why I fell in love with cars, but then it all boils down to the people you meet and the people you know, and they kind of show you, oh, you can do this.
What was your first car? I mean, we all had the posters on our wall or cut them out of magazines, but I had those Caviar Dreams, but I had that Skittles pocketbook, right? So I really couldn't get what I wanted. But what was your first car?
My first car was you ready for this?
Yeah.
You guys ready for this?
I'm
My
nervous.
first car was a 1994 Honda Accord.
The Accord.
Shout out to my moms.
That is definitely the hand-me-down after-school special. We all had them,
But
right?
you was good on gas, though, right?
Oh, it was a great car. I ruined it.
That was your
100%.
Lambo, though.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you nothing.
Run what you run, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I lived on, So my first car was 1994 Honda Accord, and the people around me, my friends. So I grew up with a lot of Puerto Ricans, and so I have an RX-7. I guess you can kind of put those things together. But they modified everything. It doesn't matter what kind of car it was, they're modifying it. So sure enough, we're putting the system in the car, exhaust. Went to Home Depot, got a heater ducting. That was my intake.
Let's go.
God.
They sell performance parts at Home Depot if you're creative.
It's funny, I'm half Puerto Rican, right?
Yeah.
So my first car was a 93 Civic. It was 4-door, had the B-Series engine in it. It was the slowest car in the history of the world. But I put the exhaust on it. I had my 3-spoke wheels, and I spray painted, and everybody was like, this typical Puerto Rican thing to do. I spray painted the vents on the inside of the car yellow, and I had the light up AutoZone emblem on the back. You can tell me nothing.
Yellow, Chris? You spray painted yellow.
Blue and yellow, it
no
works for me.
judgment.
No, you
No judgment,
you like
no
it, I love it,
judgment.
right?
That's it.
But everything you just said makes me right about what I said.
Absolutely. That's a fact.
So, Hert, tell us your background with the Hoonigans.
So Hoonigan, I dedicated a decade of my life to that company. Basically, like the backstory behind it is I'm from Florida, Orlando, born and raised, and I love drifting, but I had had that Skittles pocketbook, so I couldn't really do it the way that I wanted to do it. But I loved the community so much that I found my way into a camera and I started covering events, because if I couldn't go and drive, I still wanted to be a part of the community. And also I felt like everyone at the time was doing videos the same way, and I wanted to do them differently. So just a chance to flex my version of drifting through my mind. And so the content that I put out and the way that I put it out and the way that I carried myself, especially after getting that car, caught the eye of Brian Scotto and Ken Block. And as they were starting their company, they had a void that they needed to fill. They needed someone with personality, character, who loved cars, a little bit wild, just a little bit, not too wild, but and someone who understood social media, because that was probably when we started talking, that was probably a year into Instagram being alive, and I was heavy on Instagram, so that led to, and we had a lot of mutual friends in drifting. I was friends with the Drift Alliance boys and things like that. So as it started to come up, we started to hang out. I was making videos of people who they were sponsoring, and it just came to them saying, I think we need this guy to help us build this company. And they gave me an opportunity of a lifetime, uprooted me from Florida, brought me out to California. And I mean, the rest of it is pretty much history from there. We accomplished a lot of things, and obviously Ken and Gymkhana is something that will likely never be touched.
That is the most epic thing ever.
Yeah, and the work that I did for Hoonigan was different from that. Building a brand and giving the brand a character, a personality, a voice, and things like that. Playing a role in that is something I hold dear to my heart forever. And I'll never regret any single year that I spent there. Learned a lot, built a lot, and my future's bright because of it.
That's right.
That's absolutely true. Now, I mean, this guy's super humble. He goes, that car, right? So that car, one, I don't fit in many cars, right? So the fact that we're about the same size and had the opportunity to pull that car into this building was awesome. I sent him a video acting like I stole it. I got your car.
I did a burnout on my car without it.
The Twerk Stallion, right? I mean, with all these vehicles that we have in this booth, that car has garnered the most attention. It's an icon. It's a cultural icon, right? And you've created this car. And the thing about that car is not only do they get to see you drift in it, but it's something that people see that's attainable. It's something they can do. It's something they can touch. It feels real. That, hey, everybody I spoke to about that car is like, man, I love it. And they give me a story about an FC or, like that's something that I can build. So how does it feel, one, to really have something built that's as iconic as, the Paul Walker Supra?
That's aggressive.
Nah, no, listen, but I really look at it now, obviously that's changed an entire culture and automotive landscape, but when it comes to drifting, 1994 Accord
at the movie theater watching that car. So.
Well, you got music videos going now, the movie's next, right?
Honestly, it's out of control. I mean, that car, 10 years ago, I don't think any of us would believe what society is today with social media, YouTube, the power of those platforms and how they've elevated people and their cars to different heights. So if you ask me, I never would have guessed, and it still blows my mind today. I love that me building that car, because that car is just an extension of me, right? And you look at that car in a lot of different ways, and it tells my story. And so to have people come up to me and tell me I influenced them through my car to do this or to do that or to build an RX-7 or to get into drifting or whatever it may be, it makes this entire journey worth it, because you get a little emotional.
Don't cry.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
Well,
You cry.
that car, my dad passed away when I was 13, and
it's all good, brother. We here with you, baby. He's here with you. We here with you.
That car helped me get through a lot. So for that car to influence people and help them get through whatever they're going through, it just makes it all special. My bad.
It's all good, man. But that shows the real emotion of this world that we play in, right? And, you know, sometimes people from outside this world just see the automotive center or the racing space or just the automotive space as these are just cars. And for so many of us, these cars are an extension of who we are, our freedom of expression. You know, you couldn't tell me nothing with my yellow, you know, vents. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
Still can't tell me nothing.
Still can't say, you know, so, you know, that's why it brings these emotions real, and especially we can attach it to, you know, deeply to family members is huge, man. So, big respect.
Didn't expect to cry today. I'm sorry, guys.
No, it's okay. You're being authentic. So, with just telling that story, what advice would you give those young kids and people that inspire men, women that want to do it? Like, what would you tell them?
I mean, it's as simple as Chris said. You can't tell me nothing. You know, if you have a goal, a dream, you got to chase it. You got. I sacrificed a lot, you know, and I'm not telling everyone to do what I did, because there's a lot of times I didn't pay rent to go drifting. You know,
I get it.
I don't encourage you to do that, but
We all been there.
you know, you have to choose yourself. You have to choose yourself. You got to go for it. You got to network. You got to meet people, and there's no guarantee that you'll come out the end of it. But if you didn't try, then what, you know?
And that's something my mother told me at 4 years old. She said, don't be that kid that sat in the back of the classroom and saying, dang, I wish I would have raised my hand or volunteered. Because if you let that opportunity pass you, you can't get it back. And you don't want to live with regret for the rest of your life. So what you said is phenomenal.
You gotta chase it. That's I think the biggest piece of information you can give anyone who wants to do anything is you gotta chase it.
That's right.
So, you build the Hoonigan brand.
Not by myself.
Not by yourself. Yeah, it's a team.
Yeah.
And then now you are co-owner. So rewind a little bit. We start to see this man teach T-Pain how to drift. Getting in. How did that even connection happen? Let's talk about the legendary T-Pain and this man teaching him how to drift.
So fun fact, I was T-Pain for Halloween in 2009.
I need pictures,
Yeah,
please.
oh man, when nobody's around, I and it's crazy because life will just spin you around, and here you are being amazing friends with someone you idolized at a young age. You know, it came about pretty wild. Obviously, you know, Hoonigan made massive waves, and that put us in a lot of people's eyesight that you would never guess, and T-Pain being one of those guys, you know. And we had a mutual friend as well, and you know, Payne met Vaughn and Chelsea, and at Grid Life they started to teach him how to drive manual donuts and things like that. And I saw it, I was there, I saw it, but I didn't know him, and I knew Chelsea and Vaughn, but that was their moment. I'm not, you know, I wasn't trying to like hop in there, and I remember thinking, if I'm supposed to meet him, it'll happen, you know. And so you fast forward a little while, he ends up at the Hoonigan Burnyard, and we do some stuff there, teach him how to do some donuts, and from there, it didn't happen immediately. It wasn't like we became best friends right there, but we started kind of crossing paths more and more, and then he invited me out to an event, and I think that's where I really got to sit down with him and get him to drive a lot harder, and I think that was the moment that our friendship really blossomed. And then, you know, after a little while, he called me one day and he's like, "Hey, I want you to do this with me," you know. Nappy Boy Automotive, which was probably one of the craziest phone calls I've ever received, you know. But it all just came from being in the right place at the right time, I guess, you know. I'm a firm believer of putting out good energy and receiving it back, you know.
So what sets you apart from other drifters? Like, what is your unique thing that people would see like, oh yeah, that's her?
I mean, I can say the obvious.
He's back.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, early when I was younger, just getting into drifting, 18 or whatever, my group of friends, we were a diverse group, we all loved cars, but our funny thing was referring to each other by our skin color, or, so we had me, black guy, my friend, Packy, we had our Corolla guy, he was Hispanic, we called him Hachi Dos, because our white friend was just Hachi. So, we all, we went by our names, and that was my forum name and things like that, just because it was as clear as day, that's just what it was, so that definitely was a standout thing. But as far as now, what makes me stand out, I think just being yourself in the purest form. Like when I came out with this car and it had a V8, it was a high time in the industry, in the drifting niche community, to hate V8s, so, but I stood my ground, I stood my ground, and I promoted that you shouldn't care what anyone else does with their car. If someone wants to put a V8 or whatever it may be, it's their car, they get to do whatever they want to their car. You might not like it, I might not like what someone else does, but I think just being able to be yourself in the community, wear your skin, is what helps you stand apart.
That's dope.
Don't be afraid to put yourself out there too.
Speaking of putting yourself out there, I don't know if you guys have recently seen, but somebody he idolized, T-Pain, who is now his business partner, they just did a music video called Baby Got Rap. Let's talk about this experience, because not only were you in the video doing your thing, right? But being in the studio with how was that whole experience? It was so cool, man.
It was insane, honestly. So at one point in the studio, I said to him, I was like, hey man, this is one of the most fun things I've ever done. Because from making videos and drifting and doing the Hoonigan thing, creativity is, whether I realize it or not, has always been something I'm interested in. So seeing him create a process from start to finish, from a Grammy Award-winning legendary artist of our period, was amazing. So watching him make the beat, and then watching him not write anything down and just start saying words, and then inviting me onto the song, and I, believe it or not, 70% of those words are mine.
We got bars.
Believe it or not, 70% of those words are mine, but they only sound good because of him. I sent him the words, he's made a reference track, and I was like, how do you expect me to sound like you? Because it came back to me, and I was like, this is amazing. I can't do that. But he said, he flew me in, he's like, you're coming to the studio and you're gonna do it. And afterwards I told him, this is one of the most fun things I've ever been a part of, right? And he doesn't understand that, because he's T-Pain, he lives that life, he does this. And he didn't believe me. And the simplest way I could put it for him was, I looked him in the eyes and I said, you wouldn't understand what it's like to be in the studio with T-Pain and making a song with T-Pain. And I think that helped him understand what I was experiencing. But it was such an amazing experience. And I mean, he wants to do a whole album.
What?
Oh, wow. Look at his face. He's like,
he wants to make 5 more songs. He dreams big. He dreams really big. He's not afraid to dream big. He's not afraid to speak. I am constantly trying to reel him in a little bit, but he wants to do 5 more songs and get some really big featured artists, but only people who genuinely love cars. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just putting it out there,
Well, now since we know you have a hidden talent of being a rapper.
It was an accident.
It was an accident?
Yeah, it was an accident.
Okay, that
rapper turned rapper, that's what you doing?
You said you were T-Pain for Halloween, right? So.
Yeah, I guess I manifested this by accident.
So what are your other hobbies that you do outside of drifting?
So believe it or not, I grew up bowling.
Really? I'm a bowler too.
I love bowling.
It is.
Yeah. So, I mean, I used to average 220 back in my heyday.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm a little rusty now.
Kingpin over here.
But if anyone thinks they can see me, let's run it,
Okay, let's go.
Listen, I got my own bowling ball, right? And my best game I ever bowled was probably like an 82.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Chris, that's
there's some information.
Oh, my fault. I guess I should have kept that to
Yeah,
myself.
put it back in your pocket.
My fault.
So yeah, I grew up loving bowling. I actually loved bowling before I loved cars.
That's
You know,
awesome.
So bowling is something I don't do it nearly as much as I used to, and it's my wonderful wife over there bought me a bowling ball for my birthday last year or a couple years ago. But she's like, I know you love this, so you know, get back into it. And yeah, bowling. Cars consume my life in a lot of different ways, whether it's video games or whatever. But I'd say bowling, cars, video games are probably the big three for me.
That's dope. Nappy Boy, right? So obviously there's so many levels to it with Nappy Boy Automotive is the race team, and there's a lot that T-Pain and you guys are doing online with Discord. And so talk to us about where do you guys see Nappy Boy Automotive going, what's your goals, and kind of the direction you guys are taking.
So, I mean, Nappy Boy Automotive is basically doing what we're already doing. We love cars, we love driving them, but at the same time, we don't want to corner ourselves into one discipline. So, you know, early on when it was just Payne, it was called Nappy Boy Drifting because he just fell in love with drifting and he wanted to drift. And then some time goes on, you open up your eyes a little bit. And you don't want to alienate other automotive cultures from supporting your brand or inviting you to be a part of what they're doing. So opened it up from drifting to automotive with the goal of we want to have events. So we're going to host events. We want to go to people's events. So being a part of the community it's what got me here today, and it's something I never want to lose because there's in any industry. There are people who have brands who don't actually participate in what the community is doing. So that's not anything I want to do. So being a part of the automotive community and the peers forum by going grassroots events, pro events, things like that is pretty much the big part of what we're doing. So hosting events, going to events, making content around those events. Obviously, we're going to make merch along the way as well. But the biggest goal for the brand. You know, just like the story I told you earlier with my friends, and like, there's a lot of times where growing up, I was the only black person at a drift event or whatever it may be, and not everyone feels the lack of representation or or the feeling of just no inclusion. You know, luckily I didn't have that feeling because nobody was going to tell me nothing. I was going to, I was going to be a part of this. I'm going to do this. You know, but I also understand just from the overwhelming amount of messages that I get from fans who just thank me for existing, who just say, because of you, I feel like I can do this. So the biggest goal for Nappy Boy Automotive isn't just to try to help black people feel like they're included, it's to make everyone feel like they can be included. We want everyone to feel inclusion, we want everyone to feel welcome. And our biggest thing is that you're invited, you're just always invited. So, and not to make you feel like you're invited, it's so you know. You know that you're always invited. So we just want to make a fun, welcoming environment for everyone to participate in and break a lot of cars along the way.
That's always fun, right?
Yeah.
Man, so I am super honored to have you here. I had so much fun through this interview to really learn about you, what you've done, where you are, where you're going. There's so many people here, and you're actually the first person I'm going to do with this. I want to take one or two questions from the audience because I'm telling you, see, my man's ready. He's like, come on up, brother. Come on up. Tell him your name, say what's up to the people, and then ask your question.
What's up, people? My name's Rory. I'm from Big Country Labs. I make the wing on the back of the Twerk Stallion. So I don't really have a question per se. I'm just super proud of my boy here. And watching him come up over the years has been a pretty special thing. And everything he said really hits home. And everything you said as well, like, he's helped a brand like mine, I guess, elevate to another level. And that's from little things, from being in Need for Speed. We're in the video games, we're in Forza, we're in all these video games, and Hert's car's a big deal for all of that stuff. So Thank you, my man.
I appreciate you.
I can't see where this goes. I can't wait to see where it goes.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you. Any other questions?
Fun fact, I actually had the first production wing from his company.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
I don't know if my car would be what it is without that wing.
That's dope.
It played a big role in the cars I crashed, for sure.
That's awesome. One more question? Where? Oh, there you go. So come on up. You can't hide. If you're going to ask the question, you got to come on up here. What? Hey, how's everything?
Come on, man. Come on, little brother. All right, y'all. I know my man from the Grudge game. I'm from Cali, 818 Bulldog, the Invincible, Street Outlaws, with Bodie, SoCal, Compton Fred. I just do my thing, he'll tell you. So my man here, we met or reconnected because he used to play in the Arena League football. So we reconnected 7 years ago because I own a couple arena teams. So my man ran the show out there in Palm Beach, hands down. So all the Grudge game you see with the donks and everything else is because of this brother here. So as an elder, now he's got the torch. And so my thing is, people, of what we've done as black people in this game, setting the trends and even not getting the recognition. So when you see cats like him, her, and whoever doing their thing, give them props. So if you're gonna spend money over here without questioning, then you gotta spend money here first without questioning and support. And that's the main thing. So like I tell people on my social media, a simple like and share, it goes a long way. And it takes you a few seconds. It don't cost you nothing. So that's what we gotta do. Now, get back to my brother right here. So I got a new car coming out, and we got the Impala work.
It ain't about me, it's about her right now.
Well, I'm not just saying my man, so much props out
just
there.
keep it about we
So I'm here to give props, y'all, and blessings. And like I said, represent. So we out here. We out here. So
Thank you,
I
brother.
love y'all.
Thank you.
Sweet
Thank you.
my man.
I appreciate you.
Big Chris.
Thank you, brother. Good to see you.
I love y'all. Peace out. With Massive Audio, booth 10142, and I design music. So they lucky my Harley wasn't here today.
There we go. There we go. Let's get a question for her. Come on up.
All right, I got a question for
Yes,
Hert.
sir.
Hi, everybody. I'm Cole Robinson with Curry Motorsports. All right, Hert. I happened to ask your wife how old you were, and found out I was the same age as you.
Oh, nice.
But there's another thing that I found out. Is today your birthday?
Yes.
I want to mention that so we can sing for you.
All right, here we go. Oh, we should. You know what? We singing happy birthday. That's right. One, two, three. Happy birthday to you, Hert. Happy birthday to you, Hert. Happy birthday, dear Hert. Happy birthday to you. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for checking out the Tap In Podcast. I'm Chris Harris.
I'm Dystany Spurlock.
And see you here, SEMA 2023.